were up to the waist and one up to his neck.
Yeah, when we got the call initially, it was about 1:30, and we were told one was buried up to the neck and the other one was buried up to about the waist. Once we got on scene, that's what presented right away.
They were installing storm drains and wastewater treatment plant piping about 30 feet underground.
So there ended up being a total of 3 transported. And 2 of them were not actual victims of the initial collapse. They were co-workers who were assisting, and so there was dehydration, and one got a minor injury while he was helping.
You have to be extremely careful. It's one of the most hazardous rescues you can perform. Like the mayor had said, these typically end in tragedy, and the fact that both the victims survived is amazing in itself. But very labor intensive, a lot of equipment, a lot of personnel, especially with the heat and humidity. And it's just setting up safety precautions to keep everybody safe and literally digging people out by hand, bucket by bucket. Crews initially set some ladders down in to gain access to them, and then we have to set panels and use large mechanical struts to hold back the earth. We left a couple dozers and buckets in place to help with that as well. The ground was pretty unstable. Some cracks started developing around the edges, keeping everybody back, and then it's a matter of just getting some first care and first aid rendered to those people to keep them stable, and then just manually digging them out, capturing that progress. And the worst thing that can happen when something like this is a secondary collapse. We did have a secondary collapse. The victim then got recovered back almost to his knees, and it's again stopping, making sure you're putting proper precautions and safety measures in place, and then recapturing that progress. We got the call about 1:30, and I believe we called the victim out around 3:45-ish. So it was over 2 hours.
So beyond the what you would consider to be normal, if something fell on them and hurt them, trauma-related type injuries, these were what would fall underneath our crush injury protocol. So there's a extreme force exerted on the patient's body, and in doing so, it slows down the amount of oxygen and blood being carried throughout the body, releases toxins, and so when we are about to free somebody from the dirt, we have to give a medication preventatively to lessen the effects of that before they come out.
A lot of reassuring. You're constantly talking to the victims, asking how they're doing, anything hurting, any new pain, can you feel anything? You're constantly assessing those types of things, telling them what you're doing to try to keep them as calm as possible. I know one of the victims' spouse arrived on scene, letting them know that. It's a little bit of a reassuring thing, and just trying to keep those people calm, doing everything in our power to make sure that we're all walking out okay.
It's great news. It could have been a tragedy. I want to thank all of the first responders led by the BST&G Fire Department. We had the Delaware County EMS, Liberty Township, Orange Township, the City of Columbus, Genoa Township, Porter, Kingston Township, and Harlem. Thank you. I'm sure I forgot some, but if it were not for those departments and their collaboration and cooperation, we could be facing a much different situation than we are today. We are blessed. We have great leadership in Delaware County in particular, but across the region in Central Ohio, to see that overwhelming response of support and to save lives, preserve life. We are very blessed here in Central Ohio. I'll mention that the site is currently shut down at this point. I've ordered the site to be shut down through the remainder of the week. OSHA is on site performing an investigation to determine the root cause.
This is something that we've been preparing for. I think it was about a year and a half ago we actually held a large collapsed trench rescue drill with one of the developers that involved a lot of the agencies that responded today. So training is essential in something like this, and luckily we're prepared, and we're very fortunate in this county that everybody has great cooperation. All the departments work together, and it culminated in a very successful outcome today. I would say there's probably between 10 and 12 departments on the scene with their staffing power. We're fortunate we have a lot of rescue techs in this county. It got to a point too where with the heat and humidity, you need to make sure you have enough people in backup. We actually wound up reaching out to Columbus, who sent us 2 of their heavy rescue companies just to keep enough people in reserves to constantly be rotating, and that's all we do is we rotate the rescuers up and down, keep them fresh, keep them hydrated. A lot of water. Somebody brought out Gatorade, which was much appreciated for all the crews that were working.
Thank you for watching the ABC6 News YouTube channel, bringing you breaking news, stories, sports, and original content throughout Central Ohio. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe as well so you don't miss out. ABC6 News is on your side.